Hey guys, this is Tor from TC here at the TC headquarters, and I have a prominent visitor here. It's Colin from CSGuitars.
Hello.
So glad to have you here.
Very glad to be here.
You flew over all the way from Scotland.
I did indeed.
Yeah. So it's a pleasure to have you here. And for those of you who haven't checked out Colin's YouTube channel, make sure you do, because it's, well, first of all, it's just a great guitar hang, and second of all, Colin's channel is a lot about explaining all the stuff that you as a guitar player might not know, and even if you think you know, chances are you don't really know. Yeah. So it's a treasure chest of awesome information for guitar players. So I highly recommend you check it out. So with that said, we're here to do some TonePrints today, yes. And the first one we're going to work on is on the red pedal over here. It's the Hall of Fame 2.
Hall of Fame.
So do you have some kind of idea of what we want to try to do with this?
Yeah, I've got an idea. I quite like spring reverbs.
Yeah.
But I also like modulated sounds as well.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if we could possibly do something nice spring with a little bit of movement on its tail.
We can definitely do that, and it's typically it's actually not something we do a lot, because the springs we do tend to have a little bit more of a, I don't know. We try to make them sound like if
sensible.
They were, yes, yeah, sensible
and realistic.
Yeah. Realistic is a really good word, I think,
yeah.
Because obviously a lot of guys, when they think of spring reverb, they think of like old Fender blackface amps and things like that, with the characteristics that that brings. But obviously, because all the stuff that's in the TonePrint editor is basically just building blocks that you can kind of pull in and out. So there's definitely some opportunities to do.
Yeah,
that.
I think when it comes to effects, we really need to start being pushing forward into something that's not been done.
And there'll be some blues guys out there going like, no, this is all wrong.
Let's annoy the purists.
But it's cool as well. There are other options for that. So let's see if we can dial something in that you like.
Excellent. So if I hit a spring here. I thought about just having a sort of slow modulation.
Yeah, there's actually two modulation sections in here. There's one that's built into the reverb.
Okay.
And what that does, I mean, basically the reverb is just a shit ton of delay lines that are, played really fast after each other.
Yeah.
And the modulation that's inside the algorithm is modulating every single of those delay lines independently.
Okay.
So they all move. Then we have another modulation section that actually sits after the reverb. So it basically takes the entire, it's the equivalent of having a send return on your pedal and being able to add like a chorus pedal on the reverb part only.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can hear the difference. Basically now they're both off, so you can hear what it does. I'll turn it on and I'll exaggerate it just for the hell of it, so you can hear what's going on. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Why you'd use that, I don't know. But you know.
Yeah.
So we can back down the rate.
Yeah. That's quite nice.
So that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is, if I just turn this off again, then we can do it in here instead.
Okay. This is the post one, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Try it now.
Okay. That's a very different thing.
Yeah. And obviously this is quite aggressive, but if I turn it down a bit.
Ooh.
To me, the difference is that when you do the one that's built into the reverb, it sounds more like for lack of a better word, it sounds like the room is kind of bent.
Yeah.
It sounds like part of the reverb. Where this one sounds more of an effect you add afterwards, which is exactly what it is. So.
Yeah, there's more of a prominence to it.
Yeah, it gets more of a chorusy feel, where the other one is more of a kind of this kind of bendy.
Yeah. Can you pump that all the way, the modulation rate?
Yeah, all the way up.
Just want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
It really does sound like you're bending reality there.
It's Inception.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah, so compare that to if we do the same thing where we just go nuts with this guy here.
Okay.
Let's see here. Try this.
Yeah, that's just... It's not got the same...
No,
it's the same sort of weirdness to it.
No.
Yeah, I think I prefer the first one.
Cool. So we'll turn this off again. So the question is whether you want it to be fast modulation with a slower depth, or whether you want it to be a slower modulation with, typically, you know what happens.
Yeah.
You know this, but for anybody out there listening.
For the audience at home.
So there's a relationship on any kind of modulation, so whether it's flanger or chorus or vibrato, and that is that if you find a place where you like the modulation in terms of, you know, the bendiness, where it doesn't go out of tune like it does right now, if you find that sweet spot and then you say you crank up the speed, you make it faster, then it'll sound out of tune again. So you have to back the depth back to get the same sound, so to speak, where it doesn't sound out of tune. And vice versa, if you have something where you think it sounds good and then you back the speed down, then you have to turn the depth up to basically compensate for that thing. So
my gut reaction to that is I want a slow rate.
Yeah.
That's the gut reaction, but it may be the wrong reaction.
We can try it out and see what... now I'm going to turn it all the way back as slow as it can possibly be. You can hear it.
Just hear it coming on the end there. Take it up just a little bit.
I'll take it up a little bit more. There you go. But obviously we can always back the depth
back
afterwards.
Yeah.
It's more a matter of finding the speed of the...
That's quite nice. Take it a little bit more up the way and just so I can see. Yeah, that's probably too much.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I like the fact that it's not immediately obvious, but you play something and then you listen and suddenly it goes like, like somebody just kind of bent the room.
Yeah.
So what about the depth of it? Do you want to back it down a bit?
Yeah, we'll back down the depth. I think it's maybe a bit extremes at the minute. Yeah, that it's just sort of, there's a very subtle peak up at the end of the... Yeah, that keeps it fairly subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, but it adds some movement to it, which I like.
That's got a nice vibe.
That's cool.
Yeah,
all right, so with that kind of set, we can always tweak it a little later. Then I think, you know, the next thing to do is probably just to go into like the more of the EQ of the actual reverb tail. And right now the tone control, if you look over here, you see, so it's basically just mapped to the high color, which is basically high cut.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that we can't change the other things on it. So just to give you an idea, if I set this at 12 o'clock, so that's kind of like a neutral setting, right?
Yeah.
For the highs. Then I can, right now there's quite a lot of low end. So I'll back it all the way down so you can hear how that sounds. Then I can throw it all the way up and you can hear how that sounds and we can find the sweet spot.
So that's very sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can bring in all the low end.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
We should probably keep that fairly high because I like that darkness to
the
a lot
thickness of it. Yeah. So, do you want it all the way up, or you want to back it down?
We'll back it down just a bit.
Okay,
just a little. Yeah, that's. I think that's got the right amount of chunk to it. Yeah.
So far, so good. So the next thing would be, and you can actually just do that on the knob here, kind of find the spot for the...
So that's taking the treble out of it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite nice. Maybe a bit bitey then.
Yeah. That's cool.
Quite like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a feel for that.
Yeah. So the last one is basically, it adds some shimmer on top. Right now there's as much of it as you can get. So now I'm backing it all the way down. Compared to where it was before.
Oh, right.
And this it has more of like a muffled sound compared to
it needs a fair amount of that, I think. Take it down just a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm feeling that.
cool. So far, so good. We already went over the modulation part of it. So the next thing we can do, and it's pretty subtle. Okay. You can check it out, and then you can see what you think. There is the reverb tail, and there is something called early reflections. Yeah. And early reflections is basically the part where you go like this. And the weird thing is that if you close your eyes and you're in a room, unless you cheat by dampening it or something like that, but if you're in a regular room and you close your eyes and you clap or somebody claps, because of the early reflections, you can actually, your brain and your ears can actually give you a rough idea of the size of the room.
Yes.
Because of the way that things bounce around. Just the very early part. You can always be cheated by the actual reverb tail afterwards, because that depends on whether you're in a big room or a small room. It depends on the tile and the surface you have. So if you're in like a stairwell with like stone, it's going to throw the thing around for a long time, whereas if you're in a place with lots of carpet, it's going to die out. But that initial really fast thing will actually give you a pretty good perception of the size of the room. That's actually the reason why it took a million freaking years to do this with Steve Vai, because he was like, oh no, it's not the right size for the...
Right, well, I'll try and be faster than that.
So I'm going to turn the reverb tail all the way off so you can hear the difference.
So
and it is pretty subtle.
Right, okay.
So now I can back it all the way off.
So there's nothing.
It's nothing. The interesting thing is that because this is actually simulating a spring reverb and not a natural room, if you want to get it as spring-like as possible, you would actually remove the early reflections altogether, because there is no early reflections in a spring box. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that you can't have it. Can't have it if you like it.
Okay.
So again, if you crank the mix all the way up, it'll give you a... So this is nothing, and this is all the way up. So it's just like a little weird kind of slap back thing to the...
I like it. That's quite nice.
Yeah. So then I can bring the reverb back in again. And obviously now you'll have a ton of it, because it's... And obviously when you add it becomes a little less pronounced when you add the tail. But when you can still hear it. So here's with it all the way up.
I do like it with it in there. Yeah, that halfway point.
Cool. So we keep it here. Store that. So the next thing, I actually forgot that, but it's a little easier to set once we've established the other things, and that is the pre-delay. So again, but somebody out there might not know. So pre-delay is basically the time it takes for the imaginary sound that you produce with your guitar to shoot out into space, hit something, and come back again. And obviously, the bigger the room, if you're right in the middle of the room, the bigger the room, the longer it's going to take to come back again. And
we've got the switch to do that.
And you have a switch, so you have two different options. So you can choose on your TonePrint. You can have a short one and you can have a long one. And I will set it as extreme on either side as possible.
Right.
So right now on the short one, there's no pre-delay. It's literally like right away. It's right there. And
right.
Okay, and if you flip the switch down to the bottom position.
Oh, yeah.
Ideally, you would pick two settings: a short setting and a long setting.
Yeah, so you can have got the option as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's on the long one now, so you can, if you start with that and bringing it down. Oh, sorry. So here's the halfway point.
Okay. It's not too bad. Was it like a little bit shorter?
Down to.
That's quite interesting. And take it up to above the halfway point.
Let's see here.
I guess I do kind of like that. That's
a little bit
slight delay. Is like it's not quite on it.
Yeah. It gets the notes a little room to breathe before all the wash kind of happens. That's cool.
I like it, sure. That sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave it here. So if you flip it up to the minimum setting. So this is immediate, and then we can add say 20 milliseconds or something like that.
Okay.
Just to see how that sounds. Or we could fuck people up altogether and put that at 300 just
yeah. Troll.
Something is. The last option you have here is the. So, do you know what docking or dynamic delay is?
No.
No. Okay.
Can you explain that one to me?
Yeah. Okay. So. Dynamic delay or docking delay, depending on, it's the same thing, is basically a way, when you play something with a delay, sometimes the delay can kind of get in the way of the playing because you have all these repeats and it kind of gets into be this kind of mushy thing. So a docking or a dynamic delay is basically a way, it's kind of like a compressor on the delayed signal only. So while you play, there's basically a threshold you set and an amount of damping you put on the delays only. That only happens while you play, and when you stop playing, it brings
it all back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have.
So it's a way to reduce it while you're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of loud, fast stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's good.
So we have the same option in our reverbs. So that would be dynamic reverb in this sense, where you basically have the option of having the reverbs brought down a bit while you play, and then when you stop playing, it kind of washes back in again. And there's, first of all, it works quite well, I find, for, especially if you do some solo stuff and you just want things to be, you want something in the background and then you hold a note and you stop and it goes like all over the place. That's kind of nice. The other thing is that specifically for spring reverb, because a lot of the spring reverbs are tied in, when they come in amps, they're part of the whole amp circuit.
Yeah.
And what happens is that while you play, especially if you hit it hard, the transformer will basically duck everything a bit, both, the guitar tone, but the reverb will kind of get ducked as well while you play. So if you ever heard, if you hear an old, say, Albert Collins song, he played with insane amounts of reverb.
Yeah.
While he's playing, it's actually not that crazy. There's a lot of reverb, but it's manageable. But if he kind of hit a note, and he steps back from it, you'll hear it kind of go like boom.
Yeah.
So it washes in over you. So we can kind of simulate that.
Right.
Using it.
I like that idea.
So right now it's off. And again, you have the reverb cranked really high. So So it'll definitely give you an idea of what is going on. So now I'm just gonna exaggerate it a lot.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
So there's nothing. Basically now we're damping it 60 dBs while you play. So and I can also control how fast it comes in and how slow it comes back again. So now it's gonna duck as fast as it possibly can. So as soon as you start playing, it's gonna kill the reverb. And when you release, let's see if we do like this.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is kind of odd. It's not really a natural sound.
No, that's not at all.
No. But then you can also fade it in over time. So now it's gonna fade in over, a second.
Ah, right, yeah.
Or you can do it a little faster. Like, if we split the difference, it's around 500.
Yeah, okay. I quite like that coming in fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Like that. And then the opposite way around, we can also adjust the amount of time it takes before it turns off. So it's not like...
It's not instantaneous, yeah.
So this is 1 second. So you basically have to play for a second before it completely disappears.
Okay. Right, I see it, yeah.
Compared to...
Yeah.
You can hear it's like...
It's clamping that.
Yeah, so if we set it...
That's probably a nice roll
you
off.
get that. So then, of course, this is damping as much as it possibly can. So, typically, I would say we try something around, something. And obviously, if we do this, put the mix a little bit more sensible.
I like, quite like that.
Cool.
It could probably cut itself off a bit faster.
Yeah. Or just for the hell of it, we can also change it around, which is really weird. So I'll just exaggerate it a bit again. So now there's reverb while you play, and when you stop.
It's
why you do that, I don't know, but you can.
That's just like noise gating the effect.
Yeah.
It's, that's bizarre.
Cool. So I guess we're through the whole thing. So unless you have something you want to...
Well, let's mash.
Oh yeah,
let's mash it.
I forgot. Let's do it.
Since the feature's there, we might as well.
We might as well use it.
Right. What would happen if we threw some of that craziness that we were doing earlier on with the modulation?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Ridiculous. Or
okay. Basically, the default setting is what the pedal is going to revert to when it disengages the mesh thing. So we want that.
So you potentially could do it when the mash starts at a different point from where the pedal is naturally. Yeah. That'd be weird.
So what I've done now is that regardless of what the mesh switch does now, see now it's gonna change stuff, and then when I release, it's gonna head back to the starting point you originally had. So what you want is something that goes. You want more when you press it down. Something like that. Try this out.
Okay, so it's getting the... Right, I see. It's getting a bit of punch. If I turn all that up.
How does that work?
Yeah, that's all right. Can it go any more extreme? Or is there another parameter we can throw in it to make it do that?
I can, the other way to do that would be if we added as the other modulation on top of it. It can't go it goes as fast and as extreme as it can on this one, but the other one can go way more extreme. So We can try it out just to see what happens. So what we would probably do would be that we would actually turn it on. Yeah, now things are happening.
Yeah.
And what we would do is that we would set something that's quite extreme in the background. And then we would control the mix.
You just
of
mix
that.
it in.
Yeah. So.
Whoa.
It can go, I mean, if you want to hear how crazy it can go, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty wild.
So you let me know how fast do you want? Do you want like a fast one or more?
Fairly fast, yeah.
Fairly fast.
Yeah, there's probably. Can it ramp to that speed as well, or is it just a case of mix in there?
It can, actually, it might be able to do that. Let's see here. I can only attach up to 3 parameters.
Right, okay.
It's one of the limitations of this thing. But what I can do is if I say that we don't want to mess with the depth, we only want to mess with the rate of this one. When you press it down, I can show you while we do this. So what's happening is 3 things at the same time. So when I press it down, we ramp the modulation rate on the modulation inside the reverb algorithm up to go as fast as it can.
Yep.
So that's one thing that's happening. And when you release it, it goes back down again to the red one. And then the other one goes, we take the mix and we bring it up. And we also take the speed and bring it up.
Right, yeah.
And obviously we can mess around with the values if you think there's something you want to change.
Yeah, I like that it sort of almost detunes itself.
Yeah, it's like, and it's double. There's 2.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's not something you'd use much, but it just might be a nice ender to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, anything else you want to change, or
I think I might be all right with that.
do you have a name for it?
Gallus.
What?
Gallus.
You have to help me here. How do I?
Gallus.
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 What is that?
So it means someone who's cheeky or bold or.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that like is that a Scottish kind of slang?
Scottish word, yeah.
Nice.
But I think that's probably a good.
That's a very good description.
Yeah.
That'll work.
There's a Scottish Alice Cooper cover band called Gallus Cooper.
Oh, really?
I just love the name.
That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect, Gallus Cooper. Yeah. Well, so there you go. It's the Gallus Reverb.
Yeah, thank you.